from Seattle. Ooh, got it. I'm also in Seattle right now. So I don't know if anybody's watching this season of Love is Blind, but it's set in Seattle and it's beautiful here only in the spring and summer. Otherwise, it's just great, like gray and rainy. But if you ever come up to Seattle, you can definitely hit me up. I'm a product designer, and previously my title was user experience designer at a different company, but since then I've switched over to product at PitchBook Data. And then lastly, I'm here to say you're doing great. As designers, I think sometimes it's hard for us to remember that, especially with school, being student, doing all these things. But I'm here to say, if this is all you take out of this workshop, you're doing great today, and you're doing great throughout this Designathon. Okay, moving on back to the workshop, the importance of microcopy in design. I wanted to kind of highlight to you what exactly is microcopy. And microcopy is anywhere from like a single word on a CTA or a short phrase on something to incentivize you to buy it, or a sentence or two on the main homepage to kind of give you context. And essentially, a microcopy communicates information clearly and concisely to the user, trying to make the experience a lot more user-friendly and intuitive. And although it has the word copy, it's sort of like a condensed version of what a copywriter would do. And I think it's something that designers can take a lot more ownership in being able to communicate the copy in their designs. Yeah. So we're gonna take a dribble shot and we're gonna kind of break it down and see where microcopy is being used and say, okay, what parts of it can we actually utilize to communicate to the user? So the first part here is create an account. It's your main primary button, it's your call to action, and it's the number one thing that you're driving your users to do on your design. And number two, it's to have an incentivizing text in a feature. So here it says clients who update their AUM yearly are more likely to get a 36% faster due diligence. And what this is doing is, as a microcopy, you're pushing your users to say, hey, you should do this particular function so that you get a win out of it. The next one is a help bubble here. And it says, hey, did you know we can also help you to find lenders? And this help bubble is actually, prioritizing a feature that might happen, but also it's kind of providing a guidance for your users to take a particular action. Yeah. And last but not least, on your main hero banner, there's a hero text. Here it says redefine your potential, aimed at making crypto easy to reach for all. And so these micro copy, what it's doing, it's actually communicating to you what is the product, what is the goal of the product, and what you're trying to tell to your user across this entire branding. And I've kind of gave it away as I was saying it, but essentially your microcopy kind of goes down into three main types. So one is to provide context. So it's redefine your potential, sign up to see your friends' photos and videos. And then the next one is about status. So the status of what's happening on that page or around that product. So here it says, you haven't redeemed any rewards yet. And then lastly, it's about the action that you want your users to take. So updating your profile, login, cart, submit, all that fun jazz. And then the last one that I will highlight, but we'll go in a little bit deeper, is about delight. And we can go over this when we talk about brand tone in a microcopy. And your microcopy should essentially have four main goals. And this will help drive what kind of words you want to use on your design. So the first one here is guidance. Microcopy can act as a guide. It can help users to actually navigate in a design and to help complete tasks efficiently. And it should provide actually really clear instructions and feedback to help reduce user error and frustration. So here on this UI, I don't know if you can register which microcopy that I'm going to hit, but I'm actually going to highlight what happens when you look at the password form here. So it says must be 8 characters. And you're actually guiding your users to say, hey, we're only going to let you move forward if you put in 8 characters or more, right? And a really great microcopy here is the word strong. So you're actually communicating to the user. This is towards a strength of a password we want you to get and how you can get there. And the next one we have is trust. And trust essentially is a really critical factor in the user experience, right? And a microcopy that can communicate trustworthiness can actually increase user confidence in a system and to encourage them to take a desired action. So conversely, a really vague or ambiguous microcopy can raise a lot of suspicion and ultimately hinder users from proceeding further. Like think about if you're in a phishing email and you see a lot of words that are like misspelled or just really out of place, and you also see that on your product or on your designs, like your users are going to be like, I don't think I should proceed any further. And so here in this particular UI, your microcopy in being able to actually show exactly the 4 last numbers of the card and the actions of send money is actually building trust, right? Because you're communicating to your user, hey, this is the action you're going to take, and this is how you're going to get there. And your user will say, yes, I'm able to move forward because I trust that the system will do what it's going to do. And the next main goal of microcopy is to enhance usability. And at the end of the day, usability is important in a design, right? You can't really have a great design if it doesn't meet the goal of what it's supposed to do. And so microcopy can actually play a crucial role in enhancing usability. Clear and concise microcopy can actually reduce cognitive load and help users quickly understand how a design should work. For example, like having an add to cart or sign up as your CTA is going to work a lot better than just having cart or add or submit, right? And likewise, microcopy can actually provide helpful hints or tips, or as you saw, the help bubble to help guide users through complex processes, making the design a lot more user-friendly. And so here on this UI, there's kind of a lot going on. There's a lot of colors, there's a lot of buttons and a lot of interactions. And as a user, I might not actually know right away how I want to move forward, but I can tell by the CTA that it's to add a new task. And especially if you look on this navigation here, even though there are different tabs going on, you can actually look at the UI and this primary button saying adding a new task is the way to move forward, because the button label isn't just add new, it's add new task, right? And then lastly, it's about brand tone. So microcopy is actually a really great way to inject personality and brand voice into design. It actually allows you as designers to kind of step away from, other copywriters and say, hey, I want to be able to convey a brand tone in a really small condensed text. And it's a really great way to provide even just playful or humorous error messages if you wanted to, right? And microcopy can actually help you differentiate designs from your competitors and really create a memorable and enjoyable user experience. So for here, in this particular UI, we can tell that this is the error page. And so it says, oops, wrong turn. Looks like you've wandered off the beaten path and our team is working to get you back on track. And so essentially it's conveying a sense of playfulness and relationships to the user through the words that they use. But if you really think about it, when they're hitting this page, they're probably at the lowest point of their user journey because they're hitting an error page. But by communicating with a sense of playfulness, they're taking that moment of really hitting that error and saying, hey, actually, even though this might feel like a low, we just want to make sure it feels still playful and still provide a sense of delight in that moment. Okay, and at this point, you might be asking, Christine, you rambled for about 15 minutes. How is this going to help us? How is this going to help us during the Designathon? And I'm here to kind of give a case study of what happens when you have terrible microcopy and how that could affect your usability test or your testing during your designathon. And then 2, I'm here to give you some practice throughout. So the first one with the case study is about what happens if you have a wrong microcopy. So I want to take a moment so that we look over this design, kind of give you context. I'm also going to take a moment to breathe. So this design, if you look, it's called Data Submission Portal. And the context around this particular design, it's that users hit this product in their experience when they're about to send updates to the company about their particular information. So a really interesting use case where if you're an investor and you say, hey, I want to update my fund and fund returns, you kind of go into this particular page and then you click open profile review tool under the investor profile and continue forward. As you can see by what I described to you in the context, none of those words actually come up in this wireframe. So something that to call out is that, you know, when we ask clients, hey, how did you feel about it? A lot of clients would be like, we looked for the word updates. And as I give you information more and more about why this all went terribly, you're going to hear the words, the copy didn't make sense to me, right? So we took this design and the designer was really sure that the design was going to work out great. And so we took it and we said, okay, we'll run a research test, a usability test to make sure that the design works, right? The data that we got was that 0 out of 6 participants found the tab from the homepage. 2 out of 6 participants found the feature like on where to go find recent updates. And 1 out of 6 participant knew where to click to go forward because they knew of what a primary button was. So at this point, you might be like, okay, Christine, let's look at this design and see what is the problem. Essentially, what had happened was our clients, when they heard the word data submission portal, their heads did not go to update information or update profile. It went somewhere else, right? And likewise, the words open profile review tool did exactly what the product does, but it actually didn't match with what users expected to click on when they wanted to go and update their profile. And likewise, when they looked at recent contributions, a lot of clients said, you know, I didn't expect contributions to be part of that feature word. And so at the end of the day, I'm here to say, during your designathon, I know that time is of the essence. And being able to run a research or being able to have testing is gold, right? But you don't want to take away that experience all because you chose the wrong words to put onto your design, right? You want to really make sure that when you put a button there, that they're able to see the button and they're not getting tripped up on, oh, I think this is the right button, but it's labeled differently. So I don't know if I should click on it. At the end of the day, if that button wasn't labeled, we know that all of those users would have clicked on that primary button because they know what our primary button looks like. And so at the end of the day, I'm here to kind of encourage you and say, you know, make sure to take that step as you're creating your designs to say, is this what our users would want to see or expect to see before you hit your testing stage? So terribly worded microcopy can affect your usability test results and your intended design outcomes. So what can we do right before our designathon, as time is of the essence here? It is to practice. And I don't know how many of you guys are actually listening right now or participating, but I actually have a Figma file for you. And I don't think you've gotten your Figma workshop yet, but I have a Figma file for you. And once you click here, open in Figma, it should copy to your own Figma account so that you guys can take some time to practice. And so what we want to do is we're going to take the first 5 minutes to kind of walk through each one of these and then have you guys try it out. we'll come back, reconvene, talk about, what you guys thought, and then break, repeat, break, repeat. So the first one here is primary buttons galore. And so essentially what you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing some design work on a button. And I don't know if you've ever seen like really, really, really long buttons, but they don't exist. A lot of buttons are 1 to 2 words. And that's exactly what you're going to try and do. I've provided some context about your design or where this button is going to live, but you have about 5 minutes to brainstorm, try your best, and then we'll come back and share.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for creating these resources for us, Christine. Oh my gosh, you're so goated.
No, thank you for wanting to do them.
Oh my gosh, Figma creator for real.
Take about another minute or so, try your best to be like, is there anything that I can really step out of the box and make a button name for? Great. Just out of curiosity, I think this is a pretty small group. And you can type it in the chat if you don't want to like share your voice. But what are some button names that everybody else came up with? Ooh, finish. That's a good one. Did anybody put update?
I don't know if this counts, but I did put save update.
Yeah, that definitely works. I think that would have been my go-to, Antoinette. So that's a really good one. Save now. Give them a sense of urgency. I love it. I love it. The next one we are going to work on, I'm also going to share sound because I want to share some lo-fi beats while we work on things, is I Need a Hero banner text. If you can get that Shrek reference, then I love it. Essentially, you're creating a banner hero text. And normally this is done by marketing, but I noticed while working with marketing that sometimes they really love it when product designers come up with their own banners. I'm like, whoa, isn't this your job? But regardless, we want you to come up with your own hero banners, something that's catchy and something that will describe the product. So this wireframe is supposed to be vague in general so that you can design it to be whatever you want. You just need to be able to communicate what this product is in your subtext. And so I'll give us about another, this one's kind of hard, so maybe 6-ish minutes for you guys to come up and think about. We'll provide about one more minute. So try your best. I think a lot of us might be done, but if you were like trying to maybe improve on it a little bit more? Definitely can. Great. Were there anybody who wanted to share their hero text or their subheader or their subtitles?
Ooh, I can share mine. So I noticed that there was a lot of fruits on the page. So I decided to do for the headline, what's in your smoothie with like the your italicized. And then for the subtitle, it was scroll for more about different smoothie ingredients and their benefits, which is a little basic, but that's
That's a really good one. And as I was making it, I was like, is this a smoothie product? Is this a fruit salad product? I was like, wow, we could go anyway. Anyone else? Ooh, fruit tea. That's a really great one. I could definitely see this in like a very artsy boba shop where they're like really into fruit teas instead of like traditional milk tea styles. Anyone else have like a really great one? Something that I could maybe steal one day if I wanted to build my own fruit related product. If not, I can share mine. So for me, I was like, I said fruit. Fruit is the new experience. And I think I really brainstormed and I was like, I don't know what to write here because I don't know what the product is, but I think I want to keep it vague. Ooh, for a fruit skincare line. Whoa, Antoinette, on fire. Refresh, never stress. Oh, that was really good. I hope that one day
Thank you.
that fruit skincare.
Oh my gosh.
It was so good. I love it. For the last one here, what we want to do is be able to create your own tabs. And so you might be like, why is this important? It's that oftentimes when you're kind of going through things like this, you're doing something called a card sort, where you're asking your participants to, put these items together. And then maybe it's an open card sort where you are asking them to also label that stack of cards that they put together. But sometimes as a designer, you have to come with closed card sort where you're making the header yourself, and you have to say, let me look at this group of things and kind of give it a label. And so that's what you're doing today. You're actually labeling different settings and then be able to label something that will encapsulate all of these types of settings. And I've kind of given you a little hint about it, but just try your best. And for this top row header here, it can only be one word. And so really try and figure out which word best fits there. And I will give another 5, we'll give a 4-minute one. We'll kind of make this harder for everybody. This is a gentle 1-minute reminder. I know we just started this exercise, but just try your best. Yeah. Great. Did anybody fully organize and categorize and put labels for those settings?
So for the settings tab, I said info, and then as like the heading, I said welcome with an exclamation mark. And for the first option, I said what's going on. And then for the second option, I said reminders. And then the third one, stay informed.
Ooh, those are really good. I really like the last one, stay informed. That's a really good
Thank you.
header. Yeah. Anyone else are like, wow, I think I have really good headers. If not, that's okay. You guys, I know that I gave that Figma file so that you guys can keep working on it. If you're like ever stuck on something and you're like, I just want an easy kind of brain exercise to get my head thinking about, you know, different types of microcopy, it's for you. And so I just had a few last slides to continue. I think this is the, nope. Yeah, and so at the end of the day, microcopy can actually impact how your designs are perceived. And this is impacted by, you know, how you're guiding your users through that entire process and whether or not they can trust you. And it all comes down to whether or not these microcopies will impact your usability and how you carry across the brand tone in all of these different types of words. And at the end of the day, they're just words. They can never truly replace how great your design is, but they're there to elevate how it feels as a whole. Great. And lastly, I have some Q&A time, and I would like to say that if you want to ask about my job, you definitely can. If you want to ask about microcopy and how to improve on creating good microcopy, you definitely can. If not, I'm more than happy to let everybody go 15 minutes early as well. Yeah.
I have a question. What was your college degree? Like, what did you major in?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I actually majored in 2 different things. So my first degree that I got was in biology. It was cellular molecular developmental biology. And that's actually been really great because I actually took some time to, work in research and to really get my hands dirty with what it means to have quantitative data. But after a while, I was like, I hate biology. I hate being in the lab. I want to get a different degree. And I think Hesith knows my background, but I actually ended up going back to school for design. And I majored in interactive media design. And so it's a little bit different than what I do now, but it still gave me a lot of great fundamentals. Yeah. Is everybody majoring in design in this chat or in this workshop?
Actually, funny story, UCSB doesn't have a design major. Yeah, I know. Tears.
Oh, crying. Well, I'm so glad you guys are all here. If that is the case, if you ever need design help or support, please let me know. I will be there to answer any questions. Yeah. Ooh, psychology. My design director also majored in psychology. So you don't have to be a designer. You can make it all the way to director of design with psychology background. Dang.
How did you get experience to get into the UX field?
Yeah, that's also a really great question. I first started, I think my first few experiences, I reached out to a lot of local startups. I asked a lot of different nonprofits. I had somewhat of a background because I had taken classes like at UW. I went to University of Washington. I've taken classes there. I've taken some, courses here and there, but I was like, you know what? I need experience. So I messaged a lot of people who would be okay for me doing work for free. And I don't encourage everybody to work for free. I think it's definitely, I had a lot of privilege in being able to do so. But I think even just getting a smaller payment of like, wow, like $100, $200, $1,000, and being able to leverage yourself as somebody who can work with smaller clients, it'll be a really good niche to go in there and then get that experience. And then from there, I was able to use a lot of that experience to say, hey, I worked with a lot of different clients. And then I got my foot into a startup where I was spending about a year and a half wearing many different hats, doing a lot of different things. And then I slowly transitioned to an agency. And then from an agency, I realized I just want to be an in-house designer. So I moved on to PitchBook afterwards. Yeah. Any other questions, thoughts? If not, I had Van.
Oh, hello. Yeah, I just had a question about like I guess the intersectionality between like doing microcopy and like UX writing, like if they're like kind of like exclusive, mutually exclusive. Yeah, that word.
Yes, that's a good question. And UX writing, I think, is a field that has been around for a long time, but now is getting a lot more widely known and a lot more widely appreciated. I think they're definitely in intersectionality. And I think if I had a UX writer, I think I would give all the micro writing to them, because they're the ones who probably would take ownership of that. I think at the end of the day, UX writers not only do micro writing, but they also do a lot of bigger copies. And if there's a lot of text that needs to go on a design or on a product, I think they would really take ownership of all of those items. But sometimes I realized we don't get the greatest teammates that have the best titles. If I had all the money in the world, I would get a UX researcher and a copywriter, but I got neither. So I'm here to empower you guys just in case you're put in my situation. Yeah. My partner asked me when I was giving this presentation, have I seen any of the Love is Blind contestants out in Seattle? Do I know anybody? No, I do not. But my friend went to middle school with one of the contestants. So I feel like I have a mutual relationship. It's Micah. Wow, if this goes online, I feel like maybe we'll just edit this last part out. But yes, Micah apparently went to the same middle school as one of my friends. And so I was like, it's a small world here in Seattle. Yeah. If not, I think if these are all the questions, I'm here to say thank you so much for having me, SBCL. I really, really, really appreciated it. I really had a lot of fun. And if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts afterwards, please let me know. If you guys have I need help on design, please let me know. I'm there on LinkedIn or on email as well.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Christine. So much love for you. And thank you for such a great workshop. And oh my gosh, the Figma community file. Love, 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 love. But yes, like Christine said, catch her on LinkedIn, get her those connections. But other than that, thank you so much for attending the workshop. I'm actually going to send in our raffle link for the people who decided to come for the workshops. But yeah, get your money up. Oh my god, that's so embarrassing. It just posted the actual text for the emoji. But just use your imagination, guys. You're designers, you got this. But other than that, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to message in the Discord. Thank you, Aishwarya. So much, so appreciated. But yes, thank you so much, Christine. Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Bye.